Hey there, what's happening? This is Eric and
Victoria.
And we are coming at you live from our home office in beautiful Marietta, Georgia. We want to welcome you to Wealthy Wise Wednesday. And what we're going to discuss tonight, these are topics that are critical for the success of network marketers, entrepreneurs, home-based businesses that are taking their business online. And so we want to help people to do that profitably. And so we've been blessed to be coached by some of the top mentors in the industry. And so what we're wanting to do tonight is to talk specifically about why, as a network marketer, what you need to know about personal development. Personal development is actually key. It's actually a critical factor in being successful.
It's everything.
It's basically everything. And so what we're gonna do tonight is first of all, we're gonna ask as you're joining in, let us know who you are and where you're joining us from, and if this is the first time you've watched us or if you're just watching a recording, definitely want to know that. If you have any questions for us to answer or anything we can be of assistance with, that's what we're here for. We're here to help, and we have a passion to help entrepreneurs. We've definitely been through we've fallen in some of the pitfalls and climbed out, and we definitely want to make it easier for other people as you're going along on your journey. And so tonight I'm going to talk about one of my favorite books of all time, and I apologize for it being backwards, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And one of the things he discusses is called the PPC Balance. The PPC Balance. And I'm going to talk about that as it relates to personal development. It's kind of funny to describe when he's talking about the PPC balance, but basically what he's talking about is the difference or balance between an asset that you have and how you use that asset and provide the proper maintenance and to keep that in balance. And the example that he uses to explain that is the story, the fable of the goose that laid the golden egg. Right? And so the way that story went was a farmer one day, a very poor farmer, he had this goose and looked at the goose's nest, and there was an egg there that was golden, and he couldn't believe it, right? But he checked it out, found out it was actually solid gold, and so he was able to sell it in the market and made a lot of money from that, right? And so he was just totally amazed. The next day, there was another golden egg there. And this went on and on and on. And he kept on going to the market. And pretty soon, he wasn't poor anymore. Pretty soon, he's pretty wealthy. But then he got greedy. You know how that greed can set in, you know? And so he decided that he wanted to get all the eggs at one time. So it's horrible. He killed the goose and went to get all of the eggs out. And then he realized there weren't any eggs inside of the goose. It's kind of crazy, but there were no eggs inside of the goose. And then he realized, to his horror, that it was the goose that was actually creating the eggs. The eggs were not inside of the goose. And of course, the moral of the story is he didn't realize that the true asset was the goose, right? He looked at the asset as being the golden egg. And it can relate to us in business, especially in network marketing.
Yeah.
You know, where we're taught by our upline to be ignorance on fire. And so go out there and just build your business. Build.
Do anything.
Just talk to everybody. Recruit as many people as you can. And, you know, that intensity, that hunger is definitely good. And it's part of any successful entrepreneur has to be very, very hungry. And they have to be willing to go out and do what it takes to build a business. But the problem becomes when you're giving out, and you're not replacing it with anything, right? As the saying goes, an empty vessel can't pour out any water.
That's right.
And if you're an empty vessel, boy, it's going to be hard for you to give value to people. And that's what attracts people, is giving value. And so the thing about the PPC balance is you always want to make sure there's a balance. If you are the asset, then you want to make sure you're
That's
always
a very good point.
putting something back in.
That's
you got to
right.
pour something back in. And so that's where we get into personal development. That's why personal development is so key.
It's mental. It's everything.
You as the asset, you are the most important thing, and you have to be willing to invest in yourself.
Because people are not buying your company. As much as you want to believe you have the best company in the world, or the best entrepreneur, or the best brick and mortar business in the whole world, and I'm talking to entrepreneurs too, not just network marketers, even though you think you have the best of the best, people buy from you. I see it. My favorite show is Shark Tank. Mm-hmm. And I've seen people get deals on Shark Tank that had hardly any really good business. Their numbers were good. Their metrics were good. But the fact is, they sold Mark Cuban, Mr. Wonderful, Lori, Damon. They sold them on them. And if you can't sell a person from you, then why should they even want to follow you? See, it starts with you. A lot of times people wonder why they're not growing or why their business isn't taking off. It starts with you. You've got to sell you first. And if you haven't been sold first, you can't sell anybody that you're not sold on yet. First, it starts with you. And I heard something today that just made a lot of sense. You hear the term all the time, practice makes perfect. Like Eric was just saying, practicing makes perfect. But I was also told, if you're practicing the wrong thing, then you're not going to have even close to perfection.
You're perfecting the wrong thing.
You're perfecting the wrong thing. You always hear practice makes perfect. What if you're practicing the wrong thing? You're just going to get more of the same. So the thing is, personal development starts with you, moi. And then you have to sell yourself first. A lot of us are trying to sell other people, and we haven't sold ourselves. And then you have to not only believe in yourself, you have to remember people are not going to buy into your company before they buy into you. You come first. I wouldn't follow someone unless they had it together mentally. They believed in themselves. They had conviction. Because I do not believe the blind leads the blind. I don't believe that. No, not at all. Because you can just go around like the children of Abraham and just be all over the world. And you've got to know where you're going. And so therefore, you've got to be comfortable within your own skin. You got to feel good about yourself. You got to work on your self-esteem. It might be here. You might need to bring it up to there. You might have to go a little bit further. I don't know where you're starting from, but you got to build on that. And from that, as you build your self-esteem, then you're going to feel better about yourself, like Eric's saying, and you're going to be able to attract a quality amount of people. So a lot of it has to do with you.
Yeah. It's really no excuse these days. I mean, you can look at your phone. We all have smartphones, and they're called smartphones for a reason. But one of the reasons why they're called smartphones is that you have access for most of the knowledge in the world at your fingertips.
There's nothing you can't Google.
You can Google just anything. About anything. But, personally, I prefer, even above just Googling information, is taking a good book and reading it.
I love reading.
Because reading is a very logical process. And you're literally taking this book and you're consuming it. You're literally feeding yourself.
Feeding your mind.
Building your... So here's my question for you that's listening out there. Do you have a goal in terms of personal development? How many personal development books,
audios,
ebooks,
audios,
courses, whatever, how much do you want to consume?
And pour in yourself.
How much do you want to consume?
Pour encouragement. I'm not just talking hype, but pour back into you. Because we all come into business, regardless what type of business, at a different level. Some of us have lower self-esteems. Some of us need to really up the ante with our self-esteem. So wherever you are, you've got to build that.
Yeah.
And even if you've got a healthy ego or healthy self-esteem, you still need to build it up.
Yeah. But
Because you can get torn down in your journey.
let me give you an example. I heard recently that Bill Gates reads 54 books a year.
That's wild.
54
That's
books.
awesome.
So we're
talking about a man at his level.
We're talking about over 4 books a week, really. And, think about that.
That's awesome.
Think about how much, and someone as successful as that.
He doesn't get comfortable.
As successful as that. I mean, he's already accomplished what most people would aspire to, but he's still feeding itself.
You have to.
Putting it back in. He's got more money than anybody would ever need, but he's still feeding himself. He's still feeding himself. So he sees personal development
as a husband, as a father, balance.
He sees personal development as an asset. Now, I want you to think about that a moment. Think about it. A lot of people, when they think in terms of assets, they think of a home, they think of a car, they think of how much money you have in a bank account.
Investments, jewelry.
Now, you have one of the wealthiest men in the world, and he views personal development as an asset.
That tells you a lot.
That should tell you a lot. That should they say success leaves clues. That should definitely leave a clue for you. And so with that, I want to recommend that you set a goal tonight. How many books do you want to read?
Or audio tapes.
Or audio tapes, whatever.
E-books.
How much do you want to feed yourself in terms of personal development? Well, you don't know who to read. You don't know which authors to go to. Google can definitely come in handy there.
I sure can.
All you have to do is type in what are the top 10 successful personal development books, right? And then just start reading from there. Just start going down that list. Maybe your finances are limited, right? So you don't want to spend $20 or $30 for a book. You know what? You can go to Barnes and Noble online. You can go to Amazon. Hoopla.
It's free.
And get a used book, or go to the library. Hoopla. Get a used book.
Get the app.
Get the app.
Get all the free books you want.
You get books for free. So there's really, really no excuse in the information age. And so that's our little pep talk about personal development. Hope you guys are having a great evening this Wednesday evening. We are here every Monday and Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Max Out Monday, Wealthy Wise Wednesday. And again, our passion is to help entrepreneurs, especially network marketers, take the business online and do it profitably. And you know what? Even if you don't want to take your business online, personal development is still going to be
everybody
king.
needs that.
Absolutely.
It is an asset.
It is an asset. And so with that, hope you're having a great evening. If not, let's make it a great one.